Good morning. Continuing the chapter Controlling. Today we will understand the various steps followed or involved in process of controlling. So, as I gave you the definition of controlling, it is a process of comparing the actual performance with the standards and then finding out the deviations, if any, and if deviations are there, then corrective actions need to be taken. Right? So that organizational objectives can be met. Now, this definition has all the steps of controlling process. First thing is setting performance standards. Okay, once the performance standards are set, then the next thing is measuring the actual performance, whether what standards we had set. Once, okay, suppose we have set the standard of 1000 units should be produced in a day. Now, the next step is we will measure that how many units have been produced. If it is 800, 900, 1100, what exactly? So, measurement of actual performance. Then you will compare it. Okay, we will compare. Suppose it was 1000 the standard, and after measurement it came to 800. That means only 800 units were produced. Now you have compared, so there is a deviation of 200 units, right? So deviation is of 200 units. Then corrective action will be taken to counter this deviation, so that the number of units should come near to the set standard, right? So let us see each point in detail. First is setting performance standards. These standards are criteria against which actual performance is measured, right? So standards can be set in both terms, quantitative as well as qualitative terms. Now, let us understand with few examples what is quantitative standards. Like in case of sales department, it can be target sales volume of 10 lakhs or per month. So this is a quantitative standard. Or in case of a hotel industry, wherein you can check the customer service, wherein wherever the customer service is there, so satisfaction level of customer can be set, or maybe on what parameters this can be set. You just cannot say customer was happy, wasn't happy. So on what parameters, some parameters needs to be involved. Okay, on what basis you will get 5-star from a customer, or maybe a 1-star or 2 or 3-star. So in that case, maybe you can set the standard on waiting time. Okay, so after walking into the restaurant or your eating outlet, how much time customer had to wait for ordering, or after that, how much time it took to serve him. So, okay, so all, or what was the quality of the food served, right? So all these can be a qualitative standard. Then reducing labor turnover and absenteeism in the company. This can be a qualitative standard. One more example of a quantitative: capital expenditure of 5 crores in new project. So you have set the standard, okay, 5 crores for the new project. Then how much it is being spent, that will be your next thing. And moreover, standards should be flexible enough to be modified whenever required. You cannot be rigid with the standards in work situation because of the changing business environment, right? It can be, as I explained it to you, maybe 1000 units are not getting produced. The reason could be the shortage of raw material supply. So in that case, standard needs to be revised. So it should be flexible. Fine. So let us see the second step of controlling process, that is measurement of actual performance. So measurement of performance should be done in objective and reliable manner. Performance should be measured in the same units in which standards are set to make comparison easier. And wherever possible or whenever possible, measurement should be done on continuous basis. It's not that, okay, once the measurement is done or that how many units had been produced in one day, and after that, maybe for a week time, there is no check or there is no measurement. Fine. So it will, of course, it will hamper the production. And later on, the company, because if production, what has been, target has been set, the units are not getting produced, then how it's going to be sold in the market? If it's not getting sold, then how will the profit will be covered? So all these things needs to be on continuous basis. Measure, that's a very important thing, that manager needs to measure the performance on continuous basis. Now, after measuring the performance, you need to compare it with the standards. So actual performance and what exactly your standards were. So why do we do it? We do it to find out the deviations. If, okay, 1000 units was expected to be produced and 1000 units are being produced. So in this case, there is no deviation. So if there is no deviation, no corrective action is required. Fine. But if there is a deviation, what do you mean by deviation? Deviation means the difference between the actual performance and the standards. Right? So actual performance, standards were 1000 units and actual performance is 900 units. Then the deviation is 100 in this case. Fine. Another example, company's performance can be measured by calculating what? Gross profit ratio and ROI, that is return on investment. Fine. And the next thing is efficiency of production department can be measured in terms of number of units produced and defective units in a batch. So each department has its own standard which can be set, and it's better to set the standards, quantitative standards, because it is easier to compare, right? The next thing is analyzing deviations. So how can my team improve, or how can the results be better? So these deviations are analyzed, and root cause analysis is done for better deviation. So every small thing is checked, and to like what exactly went wrong, why there is a gap. You know, when you do this, whenever you used to write your exams, and after exams, when papers were shown to you, one gap analysis sheet used to be given to you so that you can fill in your marks for each question and then find out where you lost the marks, where was the deviation. Maybe one particular chapter you did not understand, that's why you got low marks in that particular area. So you need to pay attention there. So all this is what? It's a controlling thing only. We are trying to analyze the deviations. And when the deviations are there, you found out, okay, this particular topic, you have lost marks. So you will pay more attention on that so that next time you do better there. Fine. So in this step, deviations are analyzed to identify their causes. Some deviations need to be attended urgently as compared to deviations in certain insignificant areas. In this case, let me give you an example. Suppose now there is a factory which produces juice. Okay, those like Chivita juices and other real juice. Yeah. So there's a factory, those they are producing juices, and you know, suddenly this electricity board increases the per unit price of electricity. Fine. So this will affect the company, their electricity bills will go up, right? So in this case, can they do anything about it? Is it controllable? No, absolutely not, right? Whatever electricity bill is there, they have to pay it. They cannot stop their production, right? Now, the second thing is there is complaint from the market about the quality of the juice. Fine. And this is a serious issue, quality of the juice. And if any company gets a bad name, people will stop buying their stuff. Okay. So in this case, it needs to be attended urgently. Why? Because this deviation is going to have a very big impact on company, right? So you need to check whether how serious the deviations are, right? And then CPC and MBE should be used by managers in this regard. So what is CPC? Critical point control. And MBE is management by exception. These two things should be used by managers to check deviations or to do root cause analysis, to analyze the deviations. Let us understand what exactly CPC is. Now, critical point control, that is CPC. See, some areas are a low risk area and some are high risk area. In any company or in any processes, what companies follow. So it's neither economical or easy. You know, you keep track on each and every activity in organization is not possible. Do whatever, how many checkpoints you put, like it's not possible that everywhere you will have policing, or this is not possible in any organization. So where the control should be, where the manager should focus. So managers should focus on the key result areas, that it's KRAs, we call KRAs or key result areas, which are critical for the success of the organization. Here, getting increase in electricity bill will not have higher damage than the quality of the juice, right? So manager needs to focus on the key results area. Their main business is selling juices. If the quality is not as per the parameters, their customers, those are complaining about the quality, then it's a serious issue. It's a high risk thing which needs to be controlled. So KRAs are set as a critical points. If anything goes wrong here, the whole organization suffers. So if production manager is appointed for that juice factory, his main KRA, key result area, will be the quality production, timely production, meeting the targets, production targets, okay? And of course, the resources should not get wasted, fine? So these are the critical point control. Now talking about management by exception. Management by exception means, see, again, a very beautiful quote I would like to make here. See, if you try to control, it's a very important management principle basically. If you try to control everything, so you will land up controlling nothing. You know, it results in controlling nothing. You try to, okay, I should be able to control the behavior of the workers. I should be able to control the other parameters which are there, and those small things which really doesn't matter. Okay, so if you try to control everything in an organization, you will land up controlling nothing, right? So managers should always concentrate on significant deviations. Again, CPC, critical points. Your concentration should be on critical deviations, which goes beyond permissible limits. Let me explain you permissible limit. See, deviations can be high deviations and low. Maybe, okay, 1,000 units were the target and 950 are getting produced. So there's this deviation can also be ignored. Okay, and 1,000 was set and only 700, 750, 800. So this deviation is big deviation. So if the deviation is beyond permissible limit, then corrective action is required, otherwise not. So no corrective action is required if deviations are within the permissible limit, and if deviations are beyond it, then and KRAs are affected, then managerial action is required immediately. Okay, and this is the last step of controlling process. Hope you have understood. Thank you.